सुप्रभातं सर्वेषां मम हार्दिक अभिनन्दनानि. Anyway, this is a very timely activity that DEI has undertaken about this science conscious, sound consciousness in Indian philosophy. Today, we need to more link with our own roots while we advance in the modern fields. So, I just would like to, I had sent an abstract like this. There are a number of darshanas that have taken birth in this holy land. Some of them are astika darshanas and some are nastika darshanas. But either way, darshana means those who have had a sakshatkar of the tattvas. There have been many, many great rishis, munis, thinkers, scholars, many of them. So they have dealt with sound as the basic aspect in life. Life actually starts from Shabda onwards. The Shabda has multiple dimensions and people have looked at it comprehensively. Today we will just try to look at the different systems of philosophy and different viewpoints about sound in English. Of course, that's not a direct translation. Shabda, whatever can convey, cannot be conveyed by the word sound in English. Sankhya is one of the oldest darshanas. Nyaya, Mimamsa. Within Mimamsa, we have Kumarila or the Bhatta system. The other one, Prabhakara or the Guru Mata. There was also a great sage by name Upavarsha quoted in the Shabarabhashya. Vedanta is the system. Buddhism, Jainism, everyone has looked at life, its impact on various environment or the surrounding, and how is it impacted both ways. So there are people who think Akasha as the first element has the property of sound. It can conduct sound, the medium of sound. Some others think it is the undulation or variations in the wind or the air that makes sound perceivable this way. And sound is one thing and its content is another thing. You hear some sound, if you are familiar with that language or the medium, then you get the meaning. Suppose we don't know animal sounds, we are not able to make out. Shabda is Shabda, but its meaning to be God. There is a relation between those two, and there is a way of training required, observation required, and these are the aspects that have been looked at by various thinkers, scholars. And there is also Shabda as a Praman, Shabda as a source of knowledge, which is the word of a reliable person. Aptopadesha Shabda, this is what Nyaya Sutra says. A trustworthy person says something, we believe and carry on as per that. There, the instrument of knowledge is a trustworthy source telling us something. For example, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna taught to Arjuna the secrets of life, yoga, etc. Then he just believed him. Shikshasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. And he finally won the war is one thing. The other side, he became a very well transformed being who could do the Tyaga as per the yoga, and he could really be successful. So these are the kind of the general introduction, like why Shabda is important, Shabda Chetana. Yeah, so Shabda is roughly, I am translating it as sound for want of a better word. There are two categories of objects. One is a substance or dravya. The other one is a guna, or attribute, quality, property, etc. Now, both ways it has been looked at. Some people have held Shabda as the guna of Akasha, one side. Then it is an attribute or quality. Now, Shabda itself has quality. Then it should become a substance. The Shabda can be mild or harsh. It could be pleasing or it could be cacophony. It could be creative, constructive or destructive. There are various ways. See, a person to be encouraged, for example, to take him into confidence, make him comfortable. Words can be soothing. Words can also be condemning, sarcastic, various things. So they have a number of emotions or the feelings, sentiments that are also inbuilt. Now we have sound, we have meaning. This is just the technical part without any emotion. A recorder plays, let us say, some sound. It does not have any variation or modulation in it. Whereas if there is a living being making out the same sound, many times we also see in the, let's say, TV news, a very sad news is presented with a happy face or with a happy tone. We feel this is wrong, this is not the way. Even though the message is not found fault, the way it is delivered. Similarly, when you are praying to somebody or ordering somebody, or you are trying to discuss, interact, etc., there is a variation. So, Shabda is very, very potent. It can create or it can destroy. To that extent, Shabda is the important one. So, its essence is something, what it contains. See, if you try to analyze it as a waveform or something, its content, it has got pitch, frequency, amplitude, etc. That is one side of it. That is the physical part of it. There is also a psychic part of it, also a philosophical part of it. Now, the entire creation comes from sound. And of course, we all hold in the Sanatana Dharma Vedas to be the source of every kind of knowledge. That is called as Shabda Pramana. In fact, like Vakyapadiya said, Anadinidhanam Brahma Shabda Tattvam Yad Aksharam Vivartate Arthabhavena Prakriya Jagato Yata. So that is the kind of view that various thinkers have gone through, experienced, and then explained to us. So there is transmission of sound, reception of sound, and utilization of sound. All three have importance, and so Srishti Karana also is sound. Vedena Rupe Vyakarot Satasati Prajapati. Anything that is living or non-living owes its existence to sound. This Param Brahma, it willed, let there be a gross world. When there was dissolution or Mahapralaya, nothing was there. From then onwards, to create this entire multifarious world, different Brahmandas, etc. It all happens just by the will, Sankalpa of the Param Tattva. And then it is through sound. We have what the Vyahriti as the sound. Vyahriti means that which is uttered, which is audible to others outside. There are 4 stages of the sound production. These are explained. Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. The last one alone is heard by others. The other 3 are inside. See, we have an air column inside the body. There is a fire inside the belly that actually pushes this up. You have an experience, and when you want to express the experience, there is a process. Vivaksha is the word used by Sage Panini. Desire to express an experience that instigates the air column to be pushed up, then it comes through throat onwards and through the mouth at different points. It touches and then it gets reflected. So different sounds are produced and there are different aspects of sound. So now if it has got guna, then it should be a dravya. It can also be a guna of some other tattva like akasha. It can also be an independent entity even before the creation of akasha onward. So there are three levels at which sound or shabda can be looked at. It has been looked at. And it has been very effective, is something that everyone has experienced. Even a child would say with its parent, no, you are not happy with me. Your tone is not pleasant. So this could be identified even at the very infant level, simply because it is inbuilt. It is inbuilt into all the Chaitanya itself. So that is why Shabda is linked to Chaitanya. So Shabda Chaitanya is the right word that has been used for this. I have just tried to list. There are a number of thinkers who have given different theories about this. This is about analysis. But the reality is the same for all of them. It is looked at from different perspectives, different angles, and then with examples, with various kinds of illustrations. Different scholars have tried to see. See, Buddhas, in the Buddhism, there are four kinds of theories. Buddha was actually silent, but then he made his disciples get jnana through his very presence and his grace. So there are four sets of disciples. Each one took that in a different way. So one of them is called Vaibhashika. There are other three, Sautrantika, Madhyamika, and Sautrantika, Vaibhashika, Madhyamika, Yogacara. So they said, should we just have knowledge or should we also practice? Is practice alone sufficient? Knowledge alone sufficient? Or both are required? This is how they had the discussion among them. Among them, the Vaibhashika is the one which is closest to saying the world really exists. In general, Buddhists feel the world is shunya. Shunya or nihilism was their main message. But how do we negate everything that we see? So we should accept something existing. Maybe it is illusory. Sometimes we see things which are not the way they are. So when we mistake things, then there is a disconnect between the reality and the perception. And this is the basis of saying if entire thing is an illusion, then the world could be shunya. But even then, it exists for each moment. Kshanikatvavada is what was the main theory. For every moment, the world changes. They give an example of a lamp. The lamp you are able to see from a distance. This is burning. You see it as a single jwala. But every moment it is changing. It is consuming some amount of the wick, some amount of the oil, and still it keeps being seen as the same thing, but it is similar. How do we know this is because after some time it just gets extinguished. So similarly, the world looks similar to the previous moment, but then at some time this will not be there. Maybe at some time it begins kind of. So even in that theory, the Vaibhashikas feel sound has a basis and it transfers its existence to the next moment. There is a santati or a pravaha of this continuously. Next, the Jainas. Jainas have a feeling something like the atom. In their system, there is a basic component called Pudgala. Pudgala is the word that Jainas use in the place of the five elements that they, like Akasha, Vayu, Tejas, Jala and Bhumi, they are produced by Pudgalas, are like Paramanus. It is their technical term. And from that, various aggregates, they just get produced, and Shabda is the first of them. There is Shabda Pudgala, Paramanu, from where there are multiple aggregates. You can have each letter an alphabet. You can have words which are combination of alphabets. You can have sentences which are combination of words. You could have multiple sentences as a prakarana or a discourse kind of. So this is how it is built up. The view they have. Akasha Paksha mentioned earlier. It's a kind of Akasha itself, an aspect of Akasha, sound being its guna. Some others, spota is one of the important topics. Vakyapadiya mentions about this, Bhartrihari talks about this. How does somebody know the meaning or get the meaning when a sound is heard? This is the most important discussion that is found. Grammar text, of course, it is important for someone to have meaning related to the word similarly for everybody. See, it is possible that one word is mentioned, different people take it differently. But then consistently, if the same way, many people at different times and different places can know, that means something is in the word itself, in the sound itself, which is always related to it. So that he calls it as the process of getting the meaning from the sound is through a flash in the mind. That he uses the word spota. The moment some sound is heard, like ma is one word, even if a cow wants to look for its calf, it makes a sound and the calf is able to respond back. Ma is the general sound. Amma is possible, Amba is possible. But there is a basic sound that always relates to finding the source of something. Similarly, spota is to define what is the hidden natural content, intrinsic content of sound. Vayu Paksha is the other one. Unless there is like the internal Vayu itself within us comes out as sound. So this Dhvani is another word that people use. Varna is another word we use for alphabets. Shabda, then Dhvani, then Varnas, then there could be word like Nada is used differently. Ka is different from Ka, is different from Ga, is different from Ga, etc. Now you have the location, the effort, the way it is heard, and the relation to the meanings for each one of them. This is dealt with in the Vayu Paksha, in the Spotavada, then the Sankhyas. They have given a very elaborate theory of evolution where Prakriti is the source. From Prakriti, it only has three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. These three combine in multiple forms and produce next tattva called Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva can be both Sattvika, Rajasa, Tamasa. Then it becomes Buddhi, becomes Prana, it becomes Kala. These are the variations from the Mula Prakriti to the next level. After that, we have a set called Ahankar. There also Sattvika Ahankar, Rajasa Ahankar, Tamasa Ahankar. Sattvika and Rajasa Ahankara produce all the Indriyas, Manas, then the five Jnanendriyas, five Karmendriyas. The other side, Rajasa Ahankara and Tamasa Ahankara produce Akasha, Vayu, Tejas, Jala and Prithvi. So totally there are 24 evolutes of Prakriti. So Chaturvimshati Tattvatmakam Prakriti. In that, the very first Bhuta or the element is Akasha. And Akasha has got Shabda Tanmatra. So very first root is the Shabda alone. Tanmatra is the word that they use. Sankhya. There is a Shabda Tanmatra. From there Akasha comes. From that we have Sparsha Tanmatra, that which has got touch. Then Vayu comes out. Vayu helps us feel things. Then from there we get Rupa Tanmatra, from where Tejas comes out. From Tejas we get Rasa Tanmatra, taste gets added. Then from there water comes out. From water we have Gandha Tanmatra, smell that can be seen. Then Bhumi comes out. So five Tanmatras, five Bhutas on the one side, five Jnanendriyas, five Karmendriyas and Manas on the other side. So this is how Sankhyas explain the world in terms of different knowledge senses. You have sense faculty, you have sense organs, their relationship. So they have elaborately, and most of the Vedantis also accept the Sankhya as far as the Prakriti Tattva is concerned. After that, there is a Purusha Tattva, which is a living being. And some Sankhyas accept Ishvara, some don't accept Ishvara. So there is a Nirishvara and Seshvara Sankhya. Both have their theories, a strong theory on the sound and its relation to consciousness. Then Tarkikas, the Nayayikas, Gautama Sutra or Kanada Sutra, we have Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Siddhanta, talking about Paramanus in the Vaisheshika and in the Gautama system, Pramanas. Sound become basis for Pramana, source of knowledge. Shabda Pramana is dealt with them, Vedas, and based on Vedas, there could be Smritis, Itihasa, Purana, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. And they are all held as strong sources of, valid sources of knowledge. And they are all coming under the Shabda as a category of Pramana. Then Upavarsha, as I mentioned, was a rishi who had his own analysis. See, there were two, three different great scholars like Patanjali on the one side in Vyakarana, Upavarsha in the Mimamsa, Gautama in the Nyaya system, Badarayana Vyasa in the Vedanta system. They all had their explanations about the relation between Shabda, its meaning, most importantly, its purpose and utility. Each one of them have said, Vag Yoga is one of them. Jnana Yoga is the other side. Sankhya's rely on. Karma Yoga is important for the Mimamsaka. Upavarsha basically wanted to see life as yajna. It's a sacrifice. And within that, you are the yajamana. And so many things can be created out of a systematic way of following the Vedic tenets. Then, of course, sound is eternal, also is a view. So, as we said earlier, there are three important aspects as a substance, an attribute, or as a primordial source which remains always. This is another view. Vedas are nitya, they are anadi, there is no beginning for. So, those who hold sound is eternal is another view. And Kumarila Bhatta and Prabhakara, mainly their difference is in the way the yajnas are performed and the meanings of the Vedic sounds, Vedic words, as opposed to the Laukik Vyavahara. Then, of course, Bhartramitra is another person who feels there is nothing like sound, just a samskara that happens onto the ears of a person. When some sound is heard, internally you get a samskara, some impression. There's nothing externally like sound. This is the kind of view. And he has given some examples and then explanation. Then, of course, how does somebody grasp the sound? See, how do you make a child learn a language? Then we need to see, you produce the sound. If you hear this sound, this is what is the meaning. This is what you are expected to do. For example, when you ask the child to come, atra agacha, if you say, then how are we to explain? This word means space, this word means activity. Atra means this place, you are there, come to this place. This coming is an activity, etc. How is this taught to a child? So this aspect is called as Shabda Grahana or Shabdartha Sambandha Grahana. This, for example, dictionary is a source of knowledge, we say. What does a dictionary do? It has got one word on the left, one or more words on the right. They say these two are equivalent. You see in a shloka, for example, Kaunteya, we see in Gita. What does this word mean? Somebody doesn't understand. Then the dictionary, if you look at it, could say Kunti's son is called Kaunteya. Kunti was a person. She had 5 sons. Any one of them can be referred to by this word. But in this context, it refers to Arjuna. This much of detail which is hidden in that word is brought out by this process called Shakti Graha, or understanding meaning of a word. Word exists and meaning exists, but the relationship has to be learned or understood. This is the process of learning or teaching or understanding. So this is called Grahana, Shabdartha Sambandha Grahana. About that, there is a lot of which are now Vyakarana helps in getting the Shabdartha Sambandha. Sometimes by examples, by analogies, we can explain certain things. You know something similar to this is something else exists. Then we try to tell a person, you know this, now remove this, add this, this will become this. So this is one way of trying to explain. Analogy, Upamana is possible. Vyakarana, Upamana, Kosha, lexicons, dictionary, Aptavakya. Somebody tries to explain. For example, parents or the teachers tell the child, it believes them and gets to know the relation between them. Vyavahara. Two people are interacting. A child observing them can also know this means this means this. See, a person asks the other person, get the cow, ga manaya. It watches. After telling the sentence, the other person goes and gets the cow. After some time, gam naya, he says, take back, takes it back. So in both the sentences, gam was there. Maybe that refers to the cow. Anaya, when he said, he brought. Naya, when he said, he took back. Maybe this should relate to the activity. By repeatedly observing the conversation of people, the child can pick up also. So Vyavahara is one of the source of getting the relation between Shabda and Artha. Similarly, Vakyasya Sheshat, in a sentence, we see a newspaper. One word we don't understand properly. But in the whole sentence, if we see, the sentence means this, rest of the words we know. So by inference, oh, this could mean this. This is possible. So by the context, one would be able to know. These are a number of ways. So from times immemorial, including the Nitya Vedas onward. Vedas also explained. There is a guru telling a Shishya, explaining certain things. Now he says, okay, go do this experiment, come back, then you will know things kind of. So there has been a long parampara of a generic or universal sound, a specific or particular sound. In general, let us say there is sound, we don't understand what the sound is. And some of them may not have meanings also. See, there is a drilling machine working, let us. It produces sound. That sound is not a conscious sound to convey something. That is also possible. So there are sound types, and there could be alphabets is one kind of sound. Sounds among animals, for example. They may not have the same set of alphabets or words or sentences, etc. But they communicate in a different form. Even among the human languages, say Indian languages and let us say Chinese or some other language, if you see, we have letters, aksharas, kind of vowels, consonants, etc. Maybe word itself is the basic unit in some places. Some cases we write through rekhas, some places through pictures. So there are a number of medium in which also the sound can be conveyed. And there is created sound, transformed sound, as against ever present eternal sound. There are a number of types like sound, tone, its varieties. For example, when you go to music, you have the sound expressed in multiple ragas or in multiple tones. Sari, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, etc. The sound produced by the person, the letters may be the same, but then it could be intoned differently. The swara can change, and that has its own effect, meaning, etc. Then, of course, the Guru Mata, etc. There is also a conditional sound. Somebody can understand, cannot understand. Different people understand differently. It is possible. See, now we have a word like automobile. The automobile means, auto means by self, mobile, it moves. Okay. Now, if really an equipment is automobile, it need not be started. That's what it would mean. It can go by itself. By corollary, it can't be stopped also is possible. But that word does not mean like that. We have a restricted sense for the word automobile. So these are, yeah. So upadhi is possible. There are certain subjective conditions towards using sound or taking the meaning in a particular sense. So these are all the kinds of thought processes that I have gone into. But I have tried to see. There is one very good book I have used as the source. There was a scholar in Mysore 100 years ago. His name was Lakshmipuram Srinivasacharya. He was the teacher of Dr. Radhakrishnan, who was the first president of India. He was very good in all the Shastras, and he has written a very detailed book. The book name is Mana Meya Rahasya Shloka Vartikam. He has said all pramanas, all prameyas, every knowledge and enterprise can be categorized into multiple concepts. And about every concept, there are different viewpoints from various thinkers. He has compiled all of them together. In fact, about this Shabda, there are about 50, 60 slokas he has written. He has classified this. So our job is much simpler. Any topic I am asked to talk about, this book has got, it's more than 6,000 slokas. It contains 6,194 slokas. And it covers about 890 topics on about 125 concepts. Shabda is one concept. Dhvani is another concept. Veda is another concept. For each one of them, he makes subdivisions. Is it natural? Is it artificial? Is it eternal? Is it created? Within that, what are the views of from Charvakas, Buddhas, Jainas, Nayayikas, Mimamsakas, Vedantis, etc. Every one of them has given the views of these people. Apart from this, where is this found? He has also given a full set of quotations from those texts. Very beautiful book. That helps. In fact, today we need such kind of, about this Shabda alone, he has quoted about 10 different texts. I have just tried from these texts, he quotes and then says, these are the views of these people found in this book. And that is how, of course, these are the slokas. If you see 43.1.1, 43rd concept in his text is this. So we have put this up on a website, and then we have got all these things available for study. I have been, of course, teaching using this kind of standard original text. Karnataka Knowledge Commission from the government of Karnataka had arranged once, about 10 years ago, there was a project to have Indian knowledge system to be brought out systematically. I was asked to do this activity. So at that time, about 2 years, we spent getting this book typed in, put into the site, create some models out of this. Of course, there was also a semester course on MTech level. I taught at Indian Institute of Science based on this. So it is possible to have for any given topic. We have, see, these slokas are there. I have tried to translate them into English. But if you just look at, so much of enterprise has gone into the tattvas about the Indian system. One of the strongest and most detailed kind of, except that unfortunately today our students are not having an access to Sanskrit or interest in Sanskrit to learn. So how nicely it has been put together. If we just say, I have just given some heading about Spota, he has given a lot of details like, okay, these are the, I have just tried to put, still this is only a condensation. He has referred to the book, the sections, slokas, etc. So this is how the different views, I have just given the gist of them because it's not worth going through the entire thing, but those who want to do proper research. Today, what does modern science say? What was our ancient scholars' views? Then try to understand both together. Then we would be able to see. In fact, many times we can find that anything that is thought to be new is not really new. It has already been expressed, it has been recorded, it is found. Except that we have lost that link. In fact, many of them in our own collection here, we have in the palm leaf manuscripts, many of them are not yet published. But it contains a treasure of knowledge. So, because of this kind of excellent work of our ancestors, we are in a position. For example, if Vedas are Nitya, then there are so many explanations, objections, then solutions, kind of them. So, the Varna Paksha, Vivarta Paksha, Utpatti Paksha, etc. Vayu Paksha, Akasha Paksha. So, ultimately, I'll just try to stop with one of the important systems, that is Vedanta. Brahma Sutras of Badrayana Vyasa, he has also taken up this issue. Now, his question is very simple. If you say Vedas are always present, Vedas are in the form of sound. Now, sound to propagate requires Akasha. And Vedanta says Akasha was also created by Parabrahma. Then, before Akasha was created, how could Veda exist? And so, if it is in the form of sound, sound requires a medium, and this medium comes later. Then how can sound be present before this? Before creation of its source itself? This is the question that he has taken up. Then he has said, yes, creation came from Vedas, is the established view. That is the Siddhanta. But to understand, let me help you. Now he says, sound has got multiple aspects. It could be in the form of verses, shlokas, or it could be text, simple gadya, or it could be sung. Same shloka is sung musically, gets a different effect. It is spoken as a sentence, it has got a different, as a text, it has got a different kind of reception. Effects can be different. Now, you now extend this. Somebody is humming within himself. He doesn't openly, expressly speak out. Within himself, mentally, you just hum a song or something, not heard by others. If it is not heard by others, it does not require the medium of Akasha. It does not mean it need not exist. Now, it cannot become manifest, it cannot be received by others, it can still remain. What he says is breath. We are taking breath. Uchvasa, Nishvasa. Breathing is an activity. Breathing has a sound, except that it is not audible. Its frequency is low, we are not able to hear. Upanishad gives an example. Close both your ears, there will be a kind of sound that you can hear which is within. there is a distinct sound. There is a fire inside. Fire has a sound, and apart from that, air has got a sound, which is breathing. You take air from outside, it goes inside, cleans up your system, then it comes out. Now, they can also be seen by yoga, and that is how the Maharishis could see within themselves. Then there they could find the letters, the words, the sentences, the meanings, etc. By yoga, it is possible to get to that level of understanding, discerning. So there is an eternal sound. It is heard or transmitted after some time, but before that, it does not mean it does not exist. Its form is different. Users are not there. And so it is within the Paramatma himself. Upanishads have said, Vedas are the breath of Parabrahma. Asya mahataha bhutasya nishwasitam etate yate rigvedaha yajurveda samaveda sarvangirasam. This is the nishwasa. That is how during the Varaha avatar or as Hayagriva, the Lord came in the form of a boar, a Varaha, or in the form of Ashwa. Then as its neighing sound, Vedas were taught to Brahma. He came in the form of a Hiranmaya Shakuni. Shakuni is like Garuda Pakshi, as a bird. Then he taught Vedas. So in different forms this can be expressed, but an existing sound is expressed. That existing sound is used in the Sankalpa for creation. So there is a sutra called Shastra Yonitvat in Brahma Sutras 1.1.3. The entire creation is based on Vedas as the source. They remain at all time, though Acharya Shishyadi Parampara comes later, but it is always there as the cause or the source sound of creation. It is meaningful, it has no authors, it has no errors, it is self-evident, valid and authentic, it is orally transmitted, it is undistorted, it talks about the Brahman, etc. So, Atayavati Nityatvam, Vedas are always present. These are the sutras. And this is the source of knowledge, as I mentioned. Knowledge resulting from the words of a trustworthy person or a sound that exists always, there is no author. Unauthored source sound, both are possible. So, anapta, anukta, vakya janita, tadartha vijnanam, shabda. This is how. And there is one more aspect. Whatever we cannot see by our senses, whatever we cannot infer, has to be known only through Vedas. We have a very, very limited capacity, whereas the universe is too big, too infinite for us to know. So we rely upon those who have had the darshan. That is how so many darshanas were there in this land. So many rishis. Rishis meaning those who see. Mantra drashta rishi, rishit darshanat. Those who could see, those who could experiment with it, see its all facets, then explain to somebody. So Badrayana kind of people, or Krishna himself when he said, Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedya, Vedantakrit Veda videva chaham. But he could also show the Vishwaroop, where he is saying, what I am saying is true, you can see for yourself. To that extent, this great system, this Sanatana Dharma, this Punya Bhumi, this land Bharat, has had innumerable number of very great people who had no interest to mislead anybody, who have seen things, they have explained as they have seen. And different aspects are there, so different ways they have been explained. And there are a number of course, like this Amritabindu Upanishad has got an explanation. Two kinds of Brahmas are there, two Vidyas, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Aparavidyas are the sound based, and Paravidya is experience based. So from these word based, one goes into the Parabrahma. Shabda Brahma, Parabrahma. Two words that I have used. Shabda Brahmani Nishnataha, Param Brahma Adhigachyati. So, and there are a number of episodes. Whenever there is time, we could explain things. And for children, for the students, it is necessary to know we are on a very strong ground in terms of development of theories over thousands of years. It is not transitory. It is not illusory and it is not misleading. Today's modern science can have some weaknesses because we think we know everything. Whereas the elders, the ancestors thought we know nothing. We would like to have the grace of God to know things. The approach itself makes someone better, someone perfect compared to the other side. So let us all bow down. Namah Parama Rishibhyaha. Namah Parama Rishibhyaha. With this, I would like to conclude. If there is any interaction necessary, you are welcome to carry on. Thank you.
Ramanujan sir.